In today's video, we're going to check out the roadmap to success and we're going to discover the upside of failing. Let's gain that mindset. Hey, welcome to another episode of Passive Gains for Life, where we teach you the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set so you get the assets earning you passive gains for life. I'm your host, Roger. No team available today, but that's all right. We're going to get into the roadmap to success. Now, before we begin that, I started the video off by saying, hey, there's an upside to failing. Now, this is going over the training in the $100 million lead system by Alex Hormozi. If you have not taken that training, I promise you need to go and view it and check it out for yourself. The link is available in the description below. But how he starts off this final part of the training is he gives a tale of how he got inspired to fail. And it was really interesting. So this was coming off like the 4 months after he had pretty much lost everything for the second time. Got invited to go to this conference cost him, like 10 stacks, but he went. And in the conference he heard a gentleman who was making like 30 million a month, and this guy basically described that he had a budget that was set for the crazy stuff, for the wild ideas. It was basically a budget that he had created for himself to try out the crazy stuff that could possibly fail or could possibly work. So this kind of revolutionized Alex thinking as moving forward with his business. He thought, wow, you know, if I gave myself permission to try some crazy stuff, knowing that it's going to fail more than likely, if I set myself up this way and give myself the permission to fail, I could try the crazy stuff, and the crazy stuff can lead to great things. And that's exactly what happened. He said a lot of his social media things that took off actually came from this type of mindset, from allowing himself to try some crazy stuff, but knowing going at it with a understanding that this is more than likely going to fail, but I've created a space for myself to fail, almost like in Doctor Strange when they create the mirror universe for you to practice your your magic. Basically you're doing the same thing here. You're just giving yourself room to fail and not hold yourself to this complete and total like mind game where it's like, oh, I failed and I messed up and I'll never be able to do it again. No, you gotta give yourself permission to fail. And I totally get that. And that resonated with me because I'm like, yeah, it makes sense because you try stuff and some things just don't work out. So from here, let's get into the roadmap. Let's talk about the recap basically of the entire series. But this is going to be really quick. It's not many slides to go through, but it's basically taking you from how Alex says it, from the dirt to the sky in one video, right? So let's get into it. The roadmap. Level 1. Your friends know about the stuff you sell. To start getting engaged leads, you make one offer to one avatar on one platform. The moment you get engaged leads is the moment that you can start making money. For me, this started with reaching out to everyone I knew. Primary action, warm outreach. That is important. I'm creating something here on the side, well, behind the scenes, and it's talking about basically on camera performance. If I don't make contacts with people, if I don't reach out to others and let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing to help other people get over the hump of getting on camera, a lot of people stop there. So you have to do warm outreach to the people who know you. And that definitely got me some leads. It works, right? You reach out to the people who know you and they're willing to give you leads to other people whom they think that you can help. Let's get into level 2. Level 2, you consistently let everyone you know about the stuff you sell. You know the exact inputs to get the engaged lead with your chosen advertising method. For me, on warm reach outs, I maximize my personal work capacity with paid ads using a case study as my lead magnet. But looking back, I wish I have started with posting free content. So I suggest that. Primary action. Do as much warm outreach and post as much content as you can consistently. So, at the end of this series of $100 million leads, I am definitely going to cover $100 million offers training, right? But in between then, I'm going to be doing content based on a new program that I'm starting that is helping people get over their fear of being on camera or camera anxiety and things of that nature. I will be posting content on a consistent basis to show people some tips and tricks of how to relieve themselves from that. But you have to let people know about your warm outreach. So if I don't let people know what's going on, and I'm not going to turn this video into a video about my upcoming series, you want to do as much warm outreach and post as much content as you possibly can consistently. All right, I'll get off me on the next one. Level 3, you get employees to help you do more advertising. You maxed out your personal advertising inputs, but not the platform. And if you want more engaged leads, that can only mean one thing: doing more. For me, I hired a videographer and a media buyer to take most of the paid ad work off of my plate. Primary action: hire people to advertise profitability on your behalf. So if you're at this point where you're making a consistent income and you have enough of a budget to hire a team to replace your actions, do so. This is how a lot of people grow at this point, but they have to do the hard things first. Level 1 and level 2 are the hardest parts of this, and I'm just being honest with you, because it you watch these things online, or you watch these other people who talks about making a business is simply easy, and it is to a point, but it takes effort and consistency. It's like working out, but it's building a business. And then at a certain point, you can't get anybody to lift weights for you, but you could definitely get somebody to come in and help you, or you hire a trainer or something like that. But in this aspect, if you've built up your business enough where you can actually hire employees or a team to get you to where you need to go, by all means, you're going to grow. All right, level 4. Your product is good enough to get consistent referrals. You continue building goodwill and shoot for getting 25% or more of your customers from referrals. Now you've set yourself up to ramp your advertising again. But to make that work, you have to get more serious about hiring a team to make it happen. Primary actions: focus on your product until you get consistent referrals, then go back to scaling your advertising with a bigger team. This is where most people mess up. They let their product slip and never recover. So we kind of like touched on this last week. Queenie and I did. No, we touched on this a couple of weeks ago when Queenie and I did an episode, and yeah, I'll put that up here if you want to take a look at it. But it talks about refining your product, right? So he's saying here at this point, when you're growing and you're getting consistent referrals, now it's time to take a look at the product and see how you can make it better. How can you renew it, or how can you add to it? Right? Because at some point it can get old. The information can, fall off, or it could be like outdated information, and you might need to update that. Right? So you always go back to your product as you grow. So this way it can be bigger, better, and more profitable for you as you reach out to a new audience. And if you have that team in place, you're going to grow like wildfire. Okay, level 5. You advertise in more places, in more ways, with more people. First, you expand to new audience on your best platform. Then you make ads with all placements, media types the platform supports. And after your team gets consistent results, you expand your team again to add another platform, lead getter, or core 4 activity. Primary action: advertise profitably using at least two methods on multiple platforms. So this is where you start to go out. First, you go deep, right? This is where you pick a platform, right? If you've been following this method, you pick a platform, you go deep on that platform. If it's Facebook or YouTube, you just make sure you consistently hit it with content, updating your post and talking to your community, getting engagements with your community. You go as deep as you possibly can on that platform, all the while you're getting referrals, all the while you're getting consistent sales. And then it's time to branch out. Now it's time to expand on level 5. Now you hire a team that's good. Like, let's say you started out on Facebook. Now you hire a team that's YouTube focused, and this team can get you leads on the YouTube side, and you go deep on that platform as you start to expand. So level 5, man, when you're making it here, you're definitely doing something good. But where are you in your journey? Is this are you at level 5? Post what level you're at in the comments below. I would really love to know that. If you're level 1, level 2, no shame in here on this channel. I am like at a level 1 right now. If I'm being 100% honest, I'm still reaching out and I'm still growing. However, I do have a podcast, talk about all this kind of stuff. But as far as like building a product, it's still brand new. So if you're level 1, level 2, level 3, let me know in the comments. All right, level 6. You hire killers. Your executives grow departments specific to an advertising method or platform without you. You are not looking for potential. You are looking for experienced leaders specializing in exactly what you want. Veteran executives, stronger incentives, primary action. Get battle hardened executives and department heads to take over new advertising activities and channels. Now, this is where you're like, you're sitting at the top of the mountain. Now you're like, all right, we're making enough. We got enough churn going on. We got enough like money coming in where we can actually hire an executive to take over a lot of our majority responsibilities. And at this point, based off of what Alex is saying, is that you should be able to not completely step away, but just kind of watch this thing grow from a distance, right? You're not 100% involved. You're not editing your own videos. You're not posting your own content. Yeah, you're still doing research. You're still making content, but you're not doing the minutia that it takes to get that stuff out. You are now allowing your team to grow this for you. And what he's saying, get veteran executives. You want to get somebody who's not new at this. Some people who have gotten the gold before and now they can get the gold for you, right? But stronger incentives as well. You think about it from a business aspect. If people have incentives to grow your company, maybe like a stake in the company, maybe like the pay as well, maybe you're giving something that is showing them that this is not all me, but it's you as well. That makes people want to be a part of it when they know they have a hand in it, a hand in the growth, right? So you have to come with stronger incentives as well. But if you're not there yet, I totally understand. I'm not there yet as well, but you got to think about these things. You got to have it at the forefront of your mind. You got to allow your future self to pull you to that place. So having these thoughts in your head about, oh, this is how I run my company might be idealistic at first, but having those thoughts will pull you to your future, right? So don't be like, hey, I'm not there yet, so I'm not going to think about it. Think about it. Live this thing out. Live it out. Live it out in your mind. That's how you're going to get to the future. All right, level 7. I forgot about this part, but this actually makes sense. The roadmap. I'll come back and edit this chapter once I cross 1 billion. I promise. I'll send the lessons as soon as I have them. You have my word. I literally just said this. Living it out. Alex is living it out. He is a billionaire in his mind right now. He's a multimillionaire right now. However, he was a multimillionaire when he was dead broke, sleeping on the floor at the gym, right? So living it out mentally is the mindset game. That's why I said at the start of this episode, let's get that mindset. Let's gain that mindset, because with a proper mindset, it's going to pull you into the future, right? You don't need to have the mindset that you have last year. You need to reduce that. You need to apply a whole, not reduce it, but you need to delete that old mindset and you need to apply a new mindset and live in your future. What do you want your future to look like? What do you want your next year to look like? What do you want your next 10 years to look like? And this sticks with me often, and I often remind myself of this quote, and I can't remember who said it, so please forgive me. But it says we often overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. And Alex, I've heard him say this plenty of times. I've heard other people say it plenty of times, that you have to look at your time horizon, right? You have to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to commit to doing this thing and I'm going to give myself 10 years to do it. The time is going to pass you anyway. 10 years, well, hopefully, right? We don't know when we're going to die. However, if the weather keeps up, right? In 10 years, you'll be at this age, right? But if you don't focus on what you want that 10 years to look like, then you're probably going to be in the same place you are now 10 years from now. And that may not be good for you, right? And it's not good for me. There is no way I could still be in this position where I'm at in life, right? 10 years from now. I would not want that. I would not want that. Why? Because I know 10 years ago, I wouldn't want to be in the position that I was then, right? So if I know now that if I can guide my future from the present, not trying to get too weird here, but if I can guide my future from the present by focusing on my future, then the present moments will allow me to find the path to that future that I desire. How do I know it's possible? I am learning how to build $100 million machine from a 37, 38-year-old guy who started out at 27 years old and focused on his future to the point where he was able to come back and tell everybody, hey, this is how I did it. And now he's a multimillionaire focusing on becoming a billionaire. Of course, I'm going to do what it is I set my mind to do, because if he could do it, I could do it. It doesn't matter. So please, your roadmap starts here. And your roadmap is based on the inputs that you give yourself. So if you're giving yourself good inputs, you're going to get good outputs. And right now, if your inputs are bad and your outputs are bad, you got to change your inputs. You have to examine what you're feeding this in order to get the thing that you want. So examine your inputs so you can get better outputs. It's the easiest way anybody can say it. Alex says it very well. All right. And some last points here. And like I said before, if you have not checked out this training, please go back and look at the training. The training is available in the description below. Um, please check it out for yourself. I mean, all you can do is learn and grow and learn and find out how much you don't know so you can keep growing. There's so much to learn out here in this world that can help you. The difference between a millionaire and a poor person, in my opinion, is knowledge, basically. It's going to be some skills, but the skills come with the knowledge, right? And it's going to be some things, but it's the knowledge piece. If you don't know what you can do, how can you do it? All right, I don't want to belabor this point. All right, some last points. I know this looks clean, but it never is. Real business is messy. It takes a lot to find what audiences, lead magnets, methods, and platforms work best. And you can only find out what works if you try. So you have to try a lot of different things, a lot of different ways for a long enough time to know for sure. Nobody can never know the absolute best thing to do. But I know this: the more you advertise, the more people find out the stuff you sell. The more people who know about the stuff you sell, the more people will buy it. This is the key to $100 million lead machine. He later goes on, like, because this is kind of broken up into 3 sections for the roadmap, and they're very short videos for the roadmap. Is by far the shortest videos in all of his training was this summation part. He goes on to tell about a story that he wrote in the Lee's book that focuses on how, like, this, it was like a dice story that he wrote. It was a story that he made up, which is basically telling people how to view business, right? It was kind of like an allegory. So I'll post it here up on the screen, like the dice recap. It says the rules of the games are as follows: you can't see how many sides you have. You can only see if you roll red or green. If you roll green, one of your sides turns green and you get to roll again. If you roll red, nothing happens and you get to roll again. The game ends when you start rolling. And if you start rolling, you lose. That's basically the game of life. I mean, he's explaining it in the business aspect or advertising aspect, because it's a lot of try and fails, right? And he made mention. He says you can have, like, imagine a dice, a die, right? Or, a dice. Uh, it can have 20 sides of red, or it can have 200 sides of red. You can't see the other side of it. All you can do is roll the dice. And when you roll it, and if it lands on green, great, pick it up, roll it again. But if it lands on red, great, pick it up and roll again. He's trying to explain not giving up while playing the simple game of dice. If you look at it, right? You can only fail if you completely give up. You can only lose if you completely give up. And the people who give up are the people who are the failures in life. There's no other way to say that. Doing what I do here on this podcast gets tough sometimes, right? You put up a video, you get no views. You put up another video, you get some views. And then the next video gets no views. And you be like, why am I doing this? But I know 100% that if I don't give up, I'll never lose. But the moment I decide not to come in here, turn on this camera, and record whatever it is that I'm going to record that day, whatever subject matter I'm going to be talking about, I've already lost. And that's not cool, because I have people who rely on me to do my thing, right? I have my family, number one. And then I have some fans out there that actually tune in to watch my show. I can't let them down. And that's the beauty of it. When you get to a point in your mind where you say, hey, no matter what, I'm going to keep going and I'm not going to fail, although I'm going to give myself room to fail, right? Room to try things and not get it right, but I won't give up. That's the most important thing you can get from this entire training. Like, I'm so happy he ended the training for the lead system this exact way, because people need to know not giving up is the way of success, is the way to success. Period. Period. There's no one 10-step method, no secret training method. It's not giving up. because everything is going to fall apart at one point. This guy made millions, lost it all, made some back, lost it all again, and he's on his way to $1 billion. I don't think he'll lose all his millions again or lose huge like he's done. He's going to have some losses. He probably already had some losses. Matter of fact, I was watching a video of his today, and he was talking about some big losses that he had, but he's still going. And that's the whole point. You're going to have losses. You're going to have some down days. But the upside to that is knowing that if you never give up, you'll always win. The moment you give up and say, never doing this again, you lost. You have to make a decision. You have to be able to cut yourself off from every other thing that is pulling you in another direction and say, hey, wherever I'm at in this, I'm deciding to go forward. You got to burn the ships. You got to burn the ships. And what I mean by that, that was a general, and I'm probably going to mess the story up if I try to make it detailed. So I'm just giving you the overview, right? It was a general who had an army. He led them across the sea to fight in another land. He told his captains, burn the ships. What do you mean burn the ships? Burn the ships that we just got off of. Captain, how are we going to get home? The only way we're going to get home is if we win. So we either die here on this foreign land, or we win and then be able to get ourselves back home. There's no other option. Die or win. They won. So burn your ship. Don't burn bridges, burn your ship. That's another story. But I'm gonna leave this one last thing that Alex said, which is basically the whole point of this, in my opinion. It says, during my hardest days, I repeat the same phrase to myself. I cannot lose if I do not quit. I agree. So I'm gonna ask Roger to cue the music. Thank you, sir. If this video has been helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and hit that like button. If this content helps you in any way, subscribe as well, because I got more content on the way covering the $100 million offers book coming up here in a few more weeks. But thank you for showing up. I thank you for liking my videos and watching. I truly appreciate you. So I hope to see you soon. I'm looking forward to making more content that's going to help you grow in your successes. Take care.